First of all, if you're listening to this presentation, you are considering a partnership or partnerships with Lifework Systems, and we want to let you know we're grateful for your consideration and your interest. Our mission is to create a world where all people love their lives, and we know that to create that world, we need to do that in partnership. We commit to put 100% into this partnership to help you be wildly successful and help us be wildly successful, as well as those that receive Lifework Systems services. Thank you again for your consideration. Here's what I'll be covering in this presentation. What are the strategic objectives of Lifework Systems? What are our products and services? What are the stepping stones that we've already put in place to market and sell our products and services ourselves, but also to help you market and sell with us? Revenue sharing, what does that look like? And what are some next steps? So Lifework Systems has a strategic objective around partnerships. We actually have 4 designations at this time, and I want to just go over those with you. So we have the kind of partner that's an affiliate partner. And by the way, you could be all of these partners if you chose to sign up to be. So an affiliate partner sells Lifework Systems products and services on your own website, and you receive a 20% commission. So this is a passive way to generate revenue once it's set up on your end. Referral partners are people who say, I would love to give you email introductions, and we offer a fee of $75 for every sale up to $500 and up to $300 maximum per introduction. So it's an easy way to be a partner to us, and it does bring some level of revenue in, and you also could potentially miss out on a lot of revenue doing it through email introductions. Our third type of partner is a collaborator partner. A collaborator partner is a pretty good deal because all you really do is acquire meetings for a Lifework Systems rep or online sales from our website. So the flat fee is 25% for all sales. So let's say you're a partner that can bring us in to do keynote presentations, and maybe you're walking around afterwards saying, I really suggest that you make time in the next couple hours during lunch or something to sit down with Lifework Systems because I know you're going through some problems. Maybe they go online and say, look, I've got her schedule right here for next week. Why don't we all converge on this date and have a phone conversation or a meeting? So you don't have to come and attend, but if you do come and attend, it's even more helpful to the process. So collaborators, they acquire the meetings and they help by bringing people to our site to buy and receive 25%. I also want you to know that 25% is not just for the initial sale, it's also for any subsequent sales that come from that first meeting. A strategic partner, you write Lifework Systems products and services into your own proposals and you obtain signed contracts. So there's a flat fee of 30% that's paid for all sales. And that's a really good deal. The difficulty for you is you have to be able to take the information we give you, integrate it with your own proposals, and close the deal. So what are these products and services? First, I want you to know we have 2 paths that we provide to prospects. One is called the Guided Culture Transformation, which is a framework, and I'll be going into some detail in a little while about this, but what I want you to know is that this framework is scalable, it's flexible no matter where people work, it's fully distributive from CEO to frontline staff, it's a sustainable integration process approach. So I'll go into that in a few minutes here. The other path we have is called self-led and guided options, and it's just really everything else subdivided and some things that aren't in the transformation process. So it's designed for people who want to receive the benefits of a responsibility-based or teal organizational model, but they want to select the components that they want to choose. So you set your own pace, you use our system, our tools, our assets, and our people. And you can click on that and it would, on our website, and it would take you to what are all of those systems and assets that are available. So I'm going to go into both of these a little bit. A lot of times people try to wrap their heads around what is a guided transformation process, and is it training? Well, yeah, it's training, but even that isn't a simple answer because in our model, it's flipped training. It's where there's individual online learning and then group review learning that's employee-led. So that's a best practice called flipped training. That's number 7 That leaves 9 other steps that are part of this process. So it's not as simple as saying it's a training or consulting engagement or even an assessment engagement. It's also a systems integration. The goal is that by the end of an 18-month project, people can keep the process going and have internal experts able to move forward with the system. So the optional path that I call the a la carte products, I'm just saying that for ease of understanding, is things like assessments. We have 3 assessments that we sell individually. We also have books that we sell. We also have phone apps that have been created to go along with our training materials. We also use public speaking as a way of bringing in revenues and another way of marketing. We also have individual online training and group online training that I just mentioned. And we also have live workshops. So people sometimes just don't want to do online. We also have audio training, and we have consulting services so that we can help people assess their needs, help them assess how they're going to keep it going, maybe crisis intervention. We also have coaching and mentoring to help with that. So what are some of the stepping stones that we have put in place to market and sell our own products and services, but also to help you integrate with those stepping stones to further market and sell our services through your efforts? One of those stepping stones is the use of myself and people from my team who can provide public speaking. It's one of the best ways for us to educate the public about the culture model that we provide and the value of it, and what are some of the hows of that, and how do we inspire people to recognize that there are solutions that they may not be aware of around culture transformation. And so it is one of the best ways for us to help you sell our products and services and to start that relationship building. Another one that we're ready to explore are doing virtual summits with organizations. And ideally, this would be a paid event that everyone markets and everyone profits from. And it allows that entree to the experts that you're considering partnership with or that you are in partnership with. So it gives all the advantages of a conference without all of the hassles of having to leave your hometown or go stay at a hotel or, all of that. And people can pick and choose what they attend, and they can watch what they don't go to live later. And we could even set it up so that they have access to the presenters at a certain time so that they can engage over the content. And so that's something I'm very interested in participating in with strategic partners. Another stepping stone is just our website itself. Our website has links all over the place that help people to start to engage with us. It also has video on just about every page of our website, and we offer these free next steps, which some people may want a free book, but a lot of people don't like to read. So then they may want to go to a short webinar. They may want to take our survey and learn more about how they score according to their culture. Or maybe they just want to sit down and have a conversation. So these are all ways that people can now interface with us. So one of those stepping stones that I just mentioned was a download of a published book, and it's not self-published. It's published by People Tested Media, called What's the Deal with Workplace Culture Change? And it's a really great way to introduce what we're doing with clients and why it's important and how would they assess it and what would they be transforming from into. And so for those people who are willing to go through the work of reading a book, it is an excellent way to introduce our process and our work. Another is to do what we call Bold Bite webinars. And we call them Bold Bite because they're similar to the length of a TED Talk, because it really is a gig economy. And people are moving fast, and we're lucky if we can listen to a book, much less read it or go to a class, of any kind. So in order to sort of sift through all of what's out there, we keep those around 20 minutes or less, and they can be done online. So we have some webinars that are ongoing. People can access them at any time, but they can also interact with questions, and we can get those on our cell phone here so that we can respond quickly to them. Or we could do those webinars live. And they could be free if they're the Bold Bite webinars, but they could also be 5-hour long webinars that are paid workshops that we're doing online. In our website, we have topics that are popular topics. We have those that are related to technology and business agility. We have some that are related to diversity and inclusion. and we have some that are related to the industry of long-term care. And one of the things I want you to know is that not only will we create landing pages, but also webinars for particular industries that matter to you. So market webinars to the Hispanic community, we can set up those webinars, we can set up those landing pages. So one of the most helpful stepping stones that often leads to business is when we can get a senior team member or a senior executive to take what's called an exploration survey. So in this survey, it starts out by explaining here's what's going to happen next. You complete this assessment, how long it will take. We're going to review the data and create a report for them. We even have a link in here where they can schedule the call for afterwards. They get to decide if Lifework Systems is a good fit. And as a thank you, we send them a free copy of my book, the soft version of my book, and the report so that they can see how they came out with everything. So questions are very helpful for us because, for example, this first one says, our leadership team has created a written plan for how to develop and maintain a healthy workplace culture. Some people read that and say, I didn't know I was supposed to have a plan for my workplace culture. So no, I'd have to say I disagree. And maybe they'll put in the comment section, we don't have one, but we really want one. So there's a whole lot of self-education that the person receives by reviewing these questions, but there's also a whole lot of information that is shared with us on the other side that allows us to have a much greater place of support to potential clients. So we send a report to them, and in that report, we give them their overall score. In this particular instance, the score was pretty low, it was 42%. And then we talk about how the areas in the survey in red are the ones to be aware of and address. And then we also start to lay out what are the first couple of areas that are the weakest and what are the questions you need to go through as an organization to start addressing those weakest areas. There's a list of about 22 challenges, and this particular organization picked this number of those 22. But these are challenges that they're experiencing. So it helps us to know what they see as those challenges. Another thing is, what kind of leadership support, what kind of leadership skills do you want? And for us, that's more than what do the senior team and the managers need to have, but what does your organization need to have set up in terms of systems for leadership support within everybody. So these are the ones that this particular person checked off of the list, which I think is about half of what was offered to them. At the bottom, we go through their initial survey. So you can see this is an example of one that, a lot of their answers in here, 3 out of 4 of those are marked in red because they're kind of like red flags, if you will. So this particular client had a lot to say about these questions. So he's saying in here, we don't have a formal plan, but we want to develop one. We have a collection of tactics, but we lack a comprehensive and cohesive plan. Or I think we know we must improve retention, staff satisfaction, quality of care, etc., but they're saying we don't know how. And we're asking, can you give us data on each of these? What has you knowing that you need to improve those? And then, we've fallen short of developing a concrete plan. So can you give me your stats on turnover and employee satisfaction? And do you have an understanding as to what both of these are costing you? It just allows a conversation to happen very rapidly over the meaningful issues, not, the niceties, just the meaningful issues. After they take the exploration survey, typically, we do this free consult with them. That's the ideal. But some people don't want to fill out a survey. So maybe the consult itself is one of the first ways that we have a relationship with them. Another stepping stone is that we write for the women's journals on emotional intelligence, for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, St. Louis, on Today's Workplace, for the St. Louis Small Business Monthly on The Extraordinary Workplace. We've had cover stories. We have about over 200 articles. Some of those, about 12 of those right now, are from industry giants like Deloitte and Forbes and Inc. And those are used to highlight within those articles that can be also accessed online, where what they're saying about today's trends are intersecting with the work of Lifework Systems. So sometimes that's the best in for us, is to say, let me show you this article that has been very helpful to some of our clients about this type of culture model or about this problem that they're experiencing around agility, and they read the article and they recognize that we know what we're talking about and we know how to have a solution for that. So it's a very powerful way to engage people in conversation. Another stepping stone is we have so many videos. We have about 250 videos that are not private videos. They're actual videos that we post. And we also have about another 250 that we could send snippets of to engage people in some of our concepts and in some of our tools. But a lot of those videos are TV interviews, radio interviews, podcast interviews. We have, I think, 6 TV interviews and something like 12 radio interviews, and we want to continue to build upon those. We do have some podcasts as well. We also have videos that are case study videos. They're client testimonials and client conversations, and we have tons of small videos on our website, but I'm going to just show you this one. ESSA Health is one of St. Louis's largest independent primary care physicians groups. In January of 2016, the IT department decided they wanted to change their culture and contracted with Lifework Systems to create a responsibility-based workplace culture. When people walk through the halls of this department, they see the evidence of the impacts of their new approach for how they get along, how they get more done, and how they manage their own motivation and support that of their coworkers. They operate from purpose and values, respect their unique differences, and remind one another of the lessons they've learned. Now, in May 2017, just 17 months later, here are the answers that their team offered when asked this question. What would you tell those in ESSA who have not participated in this culture change process?
The culture change that I have seen overall is that it has made my life so much better. Work has improved drastically since utilizing Lifework systems.
Actually, I've worked with ESSA Health for 24 years, and I have not seen a more relaxed, comfortable environment than I have within the last year, and it seems to keep getting better.
So it's not only changed the relationship side of things, but it's changed our effectiveness on how we do our jobs.
And I really appreciate the fact that LifeWorks works on you as a blueprint so that you get your purpose, and then you can figure out how can I make my purpose part of my vision for my daily work.
It allows everyone to have tools that allow us to communicate better.
So the LifeWorks model it's everything. I mean, if you've read anything about self-development or leadership or coaching or mentoring, it's packed full.
This is a family, and like any other family, you have to have a happy place.
I would tell them, do not miss the opportunity. Your employees will be grateful. You will be grateful. Your employee retention. There are so many positive aspects of LifeWorks you don't even realize until you get started on the work just how positive the impact is on an organization.
So here are a couple of other stepping stones. One of them is a little bit redundant because I'm going to be talking about webinars, but I want to show you how we're tying them to custom landing pages. So we have one for long-term care, and we have a set of webinars that the pictures, the words, they're all focused on the long-term care audience. So in this, people will come to a page and they'll say, oh, they get what it is to have a nursing home or to be working with the elderly, and they're singing our song. And even their webinar is focused toward how do they help us in our particular situation. We have another one, and there's multiple webinars for all of these, but so this one is on one of our target markets, which is diversity and inclusion. And so it's the same themes on the webinars, but we have, again, repackaged and repurposed it for breaking down barriers and creating conditions that result in a diverse and inclusive workplace. And last but not least, right now, one of our custom markets is the Agile community. How do we help people with business agility and Agile technology? And we have a special landing page and webinars for that topic. Again, I just want you to know we're willing to do other custom landing pages and other custom webinars so that we can attract people that you want to serve into our work through that particular doorway. Another stepping stone are just offering our training, and those offers could be discounted programs, volume purchases. Sometimes we sell our training with free phone apps or free audio versions. And in the case of several of our larger topics, 13 different healthcare titles may be eligible for continuing education credits nationwide. And we also have all of our online training available in subscription memberships. And sometimes people might want to buy a topic like redirecting negative behavior and have the option to do the group sessions and the facilitated review and practice sessions that go with that topic. So all of the topics have group modules that go with them if somebody wanted to buy those independently. For example, we'll have the webinar on redirecting negative behavior, and we might offer 20% off if they purchase the training that day. So another stepping stone that's very important is a demo that we have on our site called the e-learning demo. And in that, they go to our training website and they click on this e-learning intro and demo module, which is free. It doesn't have a price associated with it. And they go to that demo page and they click on that module, and it takes them through what is our e-learning center, what are these modules, what are the characteristics of them. And so, for example, it talks about the best practices we used in designing the training, how we use intro videos, and how we go over the objectives, and we have all kinds of interactions within each module, and how we have used supportive videos, either our own sources or those that we've gotten externally. And we'll often bring in industry statistics and have a correlation between what we're doing in the modules with their workbook assignments and with their group sessions. Then this learning demo takes them through segments from a group module and an individual module so that they kind of get a flavor of it. And in those, it takes them through some of the various interactive and experiential exercises and how we replicate those in an e-learning environment. So what they get in this portion of the demo is an example of a regional vice president who introduced the e-learning that she was bringing to her company to over 1,000 people. So it was a recorded message. She answered specific questions like, why are we bringing you this initiative? What is it that we're committed to doing? What is it that we want for you? And that was a way she could get the message out to over 1,000 people. Another stepping stone is what we call our Chick-fil-A sample. It's 90 days of an 18-month project, and ideally around 10 to 12 people participate. And ideally, it's a vertical slice of the roles. And by that, we mean it might be some senior team members, some mid-level managers, and then some frontline staff all the way down the line. And this project is a way for you to experience all those 10 steps that I showed you in an earlier screen all by themselves. So the cost for that is $395 for just this little mini sample project. So let's say an organization buys that and they go through the sample and they get really excited about it. We'll take that $395 off of the total price of the 18-month program so that they can just continue forward and start presenting this to other people in their groups. We lay it out for them. We do a kickoff session for them so they see what it looks like to be part of a group session. We take them through an engagement, alignment, and trust survey called the Strategic Alignment Survey. We have a temperament survey that we use that they take. We do pre-project train the trainer modules where they're instructional modules about what kind of things are going to be happening in the project and what are the guidelines and pitfalls to watch for in the process. And then they participate in their first mentoring session. So we break it to an hour, but normally a mentoring session is 30 minutes. But the way we coach them in the sample is 2 of them are guided. So I demonstrate mentoring one person, and then the other person is mentored by the first person that was mentored. So it's just a way for me to oversee them in the learning process around mentoring, or people from our team. The commitments for the end of month 1 are 6 hours of time. In the second month, everybody watches their first 2 individual modules, and then one of their employees leads the group session, and we're overseeing that. And then the second mentoring session occurs for everyone. So we just take a subset of those and we sit in on those mentoring sessions. So we're just kind of rotating who we're overseeing. And sometimes people will videotape their own mentoring, and then we can reply on their videos where we see them staying on course and where we see them falling off course. So the time commitment in month 2 is 4 hours, and maybe an additional hour if they're leading a group. And then the last month, people go through the next set of individual modules, 2A and 2B. They go through the review session, another employee-led session that we oversee, but that's being managed and owned by the employee. And then everybody goes through this third mentoring session. And so the commitments at the end of month 3 are 4 hours, except one person will have an additional hour who's going to lead the group session. And you might find that some of the workbook time would add up to another 30 minutes. So the total price and time required is $395 for 14 hours over 90 days. So that's something like 4.5 hours a month. This is one of the greatest things we can do with a prospect, because that's when they get excited about us. That's when they realize this isn't just conceptual, this is implementation. This is practical, this is pragmatic, this is engaging us, this is getting us excited, this is repeating the content 3 different ways in the individual modules, in the group sessions, and again in the mentoring sessions. Even the first mentoring session, that same topic is likely to come around again in other mentoring sessions. So it becomes much more than just an interesting concept that people are learning. It becomes a way of using what they're learning and making it relevant and making it into a resource. So what we did is we put together a narrated module and workbook, and it is called Success Trends and Terms, and it reviews those trends and those terms and offers explanation about those terms. And there's a little workbook that goes along with it for where the module pauses so that there can be management questions and discussions about what they're learning. And that's really helpful because it allows us to have a way for them to start understanding the relevance of this for them before they even bring us in. And it's another free thing. And then another stepping stone that we're in the process of putting together right now is a certification for people that want to be the delivery system for these services, whether it's in their own organization or if it's in their client sites. So this would be somebody who goes through a process that they complete, that they demonstrate proficiency in, and that they're capable to represent the Lifework systems framework and the tools so that they're known as a culture transformation specialist. And so that's a process that we will have available by 2020. And it's another thing you can offer to people. You may have a membership of companies that want to become the specialists in their organization for this culture system. Another stepping stone is social media ads. So these are 2 ads that we used for 2 different markets, and they are the ones that we used on AdWords, the ones that we used on Facebook and LinkedIn, and they drive people to the webinars. Another stepping stone are targeted email campaigns. So what we've done is we've been collecting data on all different types of people that are within our market, our custom market. So we're looking for and always adding to our list of diversity and inclusion leaders, the long-term care leaders, and we're also looking for the agile technology and business agility leaders. And so then we create targeted campaigns for them that in some cases would be registering for a webinar or regularly receiving articles on topics of import to them. The next agenda item is revenue sharing. So what are we looking at regarding that part of our partnership? So I want to just list some of the types of sales that could be occurring, and then I want you to see what they could look like in terms of the numbers if you're operating as a referral partner, an affiliate, as a collaborator, and if you're operating as a strategic partner. So let's say you sell the sample of our process for 10 people. If you do it by giving us an email introduction, you would earn $300 on that sale. If you did it because you put it on your website and somebody bought it, you would make 20%, which is $734. If you did it by getting somebody in my company a meeting and we went and sold it, but you set up that first meeting, you would make $918. If you built this into your own proposal and you closed the deal, you'd make over $1,100. Now let's say from that sample, a group of 25 people decide to go forward with the entire 18-month process. So then you've jumped up to a project, and so if you've done it through an introduction, an email introduction, you're still at a max of $300. But if you do it because somebody found this process and moved forward on it from your website, you would make a little over $8,500. If you did it by getting us a meeting where the result was a sale in this, and you don't even have to be at the meeting, you would make $10,694. And if you built it into your own proposal and got people to sign off on it, you would make close to $13,000. Let's say instead or in addition, a company says, we want to just buy this one single program called Redirecting Negative Behavior, and we want to buy it for 10 people. So if you refer, that would result in $225. As an affiliate, if you sold these 10 off of your website, you would make $350. If you would sell it because you led me to meet with this person and they purchased this, you'd make $438. And if you wrote it into your own contract and you got the business, you would make $525. And you wouldn't have to do anything because these are online programs that we just registered them for. So let's imagine you sold all three of these things. These are what your revenues would look like at this level of sales. So it's a relatively small amount of people buying a relatively small amount. I would say that 18-month process is not a small amount, but the others are relatively small. Now let's say you happen to get us a meeting with an organization that has 260 people. Like I'm talking right now to a partner who has a client that has 430 people. So it could easily become 18-month process in that case for 430 people. But in this case, I just put the number of 260 people. So that's a $235,000 sale. If all you did was an email introduction, we're grateful, but the maximum we're paying is $300. But if you did it because somebody met us through your website, you would make $47,000. If you got us the meeting that got us in the door, you would make close to $59,000. And if you put it on your own proposal and we helped you, we put the words together and sent it to you to put in the proposal and reviewed it with you and you took it to the customer and you got the deal, that's $70,000 for that one sale. Right now, we're just talking about the financial gains that you would make for the sales alone, not any of the delivery. So let's say you did all four of these things. Your organization could make as little as $1,125 or as much as almost $85,000. And very little effort on your part. Referrals are email introduction. Affiliate means you have something on your website that they found us through. Collaborator means you got us a meeting or you got them to go to the website and purchase something. And strategic just means that you understand our products and services enough that you sell them within your own proposals and we either deliver them or you deliver them. So last on the agenda are next steps. Lifework Systems sends this narrated presentation and any links to items mentioned herein to all members of the senior team who ultimately determine partnership fit for your organization. General and specific interests are clarified internally within your organization and with Lifework Systems. For each partnership designation selected, a strategic plan for individual and co-marketing and co-sales activities is created, agreed upon, including rollout and implementation. Partnership designations, the agreed upon plan, and all terms of compensation are drafted into a contract and signed by both organizations. Thank you for consideration of the work that we do and partnering with us in accomplishing it. Our mission is to create a world where people love their lives, and part of what helps us love our lives is to partner with high integrity, high value-based organizations like your own. And we look forward to a long, profitable, and helpful relationship with you. Thank you.